Hey, what is going on, my Shadowverse Masters? It's your boy here today, Dean from Burn 1, and I am going to be going over the Toronto top 4 deck list for you guys today. Kind of just give my thoughts and impressions on them. Congratulations to everyone who made top 8. Special congratulations to top 3, because those people will be able to go to Worlds, with first place getting the paid trip nonetheless. A little bit about this tournament: there were 22 players only due to the invite system keeping our attendance numbers abysmally low, I believe. I am not a fan of that, actually, the more and more I think about it, and what that does to the meta, and how that happens. Let's see. We had 12 dragons, and then the other 10 players were on other decks. Yet, despite all of that, a little bit spoilers about this top 8. We had a Dirt. We had an Aggro Abyss. 4 dragons and 2 havens, and actually 2 of the havens made top 4. Very impressive runs from the haven players, but in the end, those 12 dragon players won, rose above all. And congratulations to Photo for taking it all with a very powerful dragon list. I have been testing this a little bit since this happened yesterday for me, so I was able to sleeve this up and give it a shot, and this deck is insane. So what do we have that's different than a normal dragon list? Well, we're playing double Isla. I like triple, but double's good enough. And we're playing triple Zernitra. I think the people that cut this thing down, I don't understand. The card is so good. But more importantly, we're also on triple Path. Path is insane. It gives us all the dig that we need into our deck. We're able to combo it on turn 10 and later. We can put down a Path to put us below 10, Lucifer, sack the Path, heal up. So it doesn't even fully clog our board like it might. And any extra copies, we're just going to discard with Shenlong. It just gives us the ability to go wider on later turns or on like turn 7. Triple Dragon Guard, very powerful card. It is a 6/7 as long as you're in overflow, which, for you is probably on turn 5. If you do double ramp, if you see Oracle, or Oracle Isla, slap this thing down, slap Zernitra down first to summon the dragon, then summon this. Suddenly you have a very wide board. This is very hard for your opponent to kill, and you're able to combine that with a Forte for the following turn for basically almost end the game on the spot. We have the double Execution. This is just, Execution is good card, play it. Single Conflag. Conflag is, your opponent goes super wide. You don't have the Fafnir yet. You don't really want to proc a Path. You just slap down the Conflag. It's a singleton in this game, which means you're probably never going to see it. It is literally the 40th card in your deck. It does not matter. The Genesis Dragon, though, is a card that does matter because it ends the game. The Conflag is to stabilize, but you're not going to see it all the time, so that's why I said it doesn't really matter. The Evo deck is standard: 1 early game tempo, 1 late game tempo, and then the straight up 2s across the board. Pretty standard. And in second place, we have a Havencraft. Congratulations to Wibbs. 40 cards. I think this part's interesting because Haven, if you haven't played it into Dragon, one of the main game strategies that you can have is to literally just deck them out, to stare at them and say, you are not going to kill me, and I really can't get into position to kill you either. So yeah, the actual 40, it's interesting because we're going to look at the next list, and it's on more than 40. It's a little bit spoiler there, but yeah, what's going on here? We've got, at least it's interesting, we see no Pinion Prayer. Pinion Prayer is able to summon the bird, but it's a really shitty amulet. It's a terrible card. And so by cutting that, we're able to just, play better cards like the triple Guardian Nun. Guardian Nuns is fantastic. It's a 3/4 as long as you have an amulet, and then on Evolve it heals for 2, just giving you more heal, more ability to grind out the game. Triple Cruel Priestess, good card, able to recur things. It's combos with the Holy Sentinel because you put down the Prison Priestess on like 2 or 3. You Evo, you grab the Sentinel, you look at your opponent, you say, on turn 5, the Sentinel's in the board. And they execute it because they have all the time in the world to know that, hey, I'm going to need to execute for when my opponent puts down the Tiger Generator, right? And then you're able to put down the Cruel Priestess because you play 3, bring it back, continuously generate the tigers, keep getting the value, and just grind out your opponent. Say, you know, you wasted 4 mana for nothing. I'm going to get this 3/3. I'm going to get my amulet back and put you in a bad spot. And also, just extra recursion, right? In the mid game, you're able to recur the Sacred Pleas, the Hairs, and the Dual Flames. So you got 3 targets, 4 targets technically. We see a lot of 4 mana removal in this list. On the quick, we have triple Acolyte's Light, double Execution. Acolyte's Light, of course, being able to heal and banish is a little bit better than the Execution. Execution is just more removal to combo with our plays. It's pretty easy to float 4 in this list. And only double Themis Decree. I think that's just more of because you're only on... You want to play 40, so you got to cut something. And Themis, I guess, was the first thing on the chopping block. I personally like triple Themis because sometimes, like with a list like this, yeah, you've got the Priest. Priest is the only real 2-for-1 you have outside of Jean, but I feel like Jean's a 6 mana card half of the time, and that a lot of decks that go wide, Jean doesn't even... Well, I guess it's specifically the Dragon deck, especially the first place list. They go too wide for the Jean to like properly deal with. Evo deck, pretty standard, 1/1, 4 2s across the board. Melty is on 43 cards. Those 3 extra cards can matter when you're going to deck out. Definitely do remember that. And we have only 2 Cruel Priestess. I'm not a hugest fan of that, but difference between 2 and 3 in this game doesn't... It's not super big, but like when your deck is going to deck out, sometimes it can matter. Though I guess usually the 3rd copy is kind of dead. It's more about having it earlier in the game for the turn that your Sentinel will get executed. Potentially executed. I don't know. It's very weird with the way people handle the board. Sometimes, same thing. Wait, though we got 3 extra cards here. Oh yeah, the Blackened Scripture. We got 2 Blackened Scripture as well in the list. Just as more removal in the early game. This list here in the early game, you kind of don't do a lot. I think that's why it's like built to fight against Dragon. You kind of like Bellringer pass or Sacred Plea pass, and you kind of just ignore turn 2 and 3, and you're just kind of waiting to get the Sentinel, and you don't really have a deck until then. This one, you get a little bit of more removal with this Blackened Scripture. And then we have an extra Themis as well. That's what we got the Cruel Priestess for. And 1 Moon Owl Mirage. The thought there is, you know, Moon, sometimes your opponent just has 4 health left, and you just cannot end the game. This deck struggles so much with ending the game randomly. And Moon is just an extra card that just sometimes gets you there. It's the only card you have in Haven that deals extra damage. So, yeah, I can understand it. And then, of course, the Evo deck is the 1/1 and the 4 2s. I also do want to say that Lucifer in these lists... I understand that Lucifer is like another card that can help like seal the game. And that's like, you play him more of for the attack, like the put him on the board, hope he sticks, Evo him to end the game. More than actually anything, because this card kind of sucks. It doesn't work with any of your removal. The second you put down the Lucifer, you look at your opponent and say, yeah, I can't actually do anything to you next turn. Please don't kill me. Or you usually you've healed up enough, but... Right, like you're just saying, like, I can't actually interact with you. The Blackened Scripture is nice because on 9 and 10, you can actually interact with their board or whatever's hitting the Lucifer if it has less than 3 health. A little bit of something to think about there. And in 4th place, Dedicated Rams Dragon. 41 cards. And oh boy, there are some ratios here that, you know, I think I understand where some of these choices came from. We have double Shapeshifter Mage. I don't know actually where that one came from. Shapeshifter Mage, to me, is an insane card. There's 2 of it. I don't fully agree with that one. I do like Triple Isla though. Triple Isla, good card. I do think that maximizing your ramp helps into 99% of matchups. I think Isla's insane. A lot of people don't want to kill her, so you just smack them for 3, and then like suddenly Forte's gonna kill them because they didn't remove the Isla that would have ramped you into winning anyway. Doubles or Nitra, that's like pretty standard. Also, I do also want to say, this is a really nice looking list. If you didn't notice, this is max rarity dragon as well. Even in the Evo deck. Yeah, we notice. We notice. Do we notice? Booster pack 01. Oh, never mind. It is not a max rare. Very close, though. Very close. Probably didn't have enough time to get the paths. We have double Dragon Wing, double Serpent's Wrath. These are just removal spells, and some people are on 3 and 0. The Dragon Wings definitely means that I think what you're thinking is, I'm going to see Sword. Right? Like, this is something you're prepping at locals. You're like, man, I think people are going to be on Sword. Sword's insane. Like, right? You're getting smacked every game. How do I not die to Sword? Put in Dragon Wings. Good card. It is. Sadly, there was no Sword at the tournament, really. But I'm pretty sure that's what was going on there. Double Path to Purgatory. You only want to resolve it once. That's why you play 2. Makes sense. Triple Forte. Single Dragon Guard. Low tempo card in the mirror is like the way I think a lot of people see it. It just kind of is a 4-mana do-nothing despite the large stats. So let's think that's why we're on only 1 here. Double Execution. Triple Shenlong. And then double Wyvern Cavalier. I personally do not like this card. A lot of Dragon players are on it because it gets you a cheaper card. And I'm not going to lie. When you fight this card, sometimes it is the strongest card. I think the play feel of it's pretty terrible, especially when it flips a bad card. Which is probably why we're only on 2 Shapeshifting Mages. But we're on triple Isla, so you can just flip an Isla, right? This card is like kind of awkward to play with. And then the Evo deck is 3 one-ofs, with the Shapeshifting Mage being the other one. So we're only playing 2. We're only on 1 of the Evolve. Makes sense. And Triple Forte. I think the idea here is, if I draw my 3 Fortes, I do not want you to even have a game. I do like that thought process. So, and also, you know, the big flex. You got to have all 3 of the U's in the list. But yeah, that's it for the Toronto top 4. Congratulations to all of our players. And to the additional 2 Dragon players, the Dirt player and the Abyss player that also made top 8. I don't have their list, so I cannot share that with you today. But in 2 weeks will be Chicago, and hopefully I'm able to show you guys my list up there. And if not, we'll definitely be sharing with you guys the other top 4. And until then, this is Dean signing out.